Welcome to the Thankful Arnold House Museum and its historic gardens. Distinguished by its gambrel roof with unusual bell-shaped profile, the Thankful Arnold House was built between 1794 and 1810. The property remained in the Arnold family until the 1960s, when it became the home of the Haddam Historical Society. Today, the house and gardens provide a glimpse of the life of the widow Thankful Arnold in the 1820s, shortly after her husband's untimely death. The original museum garden was designed and dedicated in 1973 and was given in memory of Wilhelmina Ann Arnold Barnhart by her father, Isaac Arnold, the benefactor of the Thankful Arnold House. Redesigned in the late 1980s in the colonial revival style, the gardens were redone with granite-edged beds and gravel paths. In 2000, the Connecticut Herb Study Group conducted extensive research to select plants commonly grown in household gardens in the lower Connecticut River Valley in about 1830. Most of the garden is now devoted to herbs, used for cooking, medicine, dyeing, fragrance, and other household uses, with a small bed featuring a rotating collection of vegetables common in gardens in the early 1800s, plus a few old-fashioned annuals. Over 50 varieties of herbs are planted in the garden, including many of the ones Thankful Arnold would have used in about 1830. The garden is a reminder of the enormous importance of herbs and other plants in daily life during the early American era. Trained physicians and druggists were scarce. Every prudent housewife had a cherished collection of formulas for dyes, tanning agents, and especially medicines. When the widow Arnold's children were ill, she would treat them with a decoction of appropriate herbs. Elecampane for asthma, horehound for coughs or colds, or feverfew for a headache and inflammation. Do you need an insect repellent? Head out to the garden and pluck some southernwood or pennyroyal, which have strong aromas that insects dislike. Cooking? You would want an ample selection of culinary herbs, such as sage, chives, and tarragon. After a winter spent eating whatever could be dried, pickled, salted, or stored in the root cellar, you would also cherish any early greens, such as Good King Henry, that could be incorporated into spring meals. In an era before refrigeration, digestive disorders were common after eating foods that had started to go bad. There are many herbs to help with upset stomach, including fennel and chamomile. Some plants in the Arnold garden were used to make dyes for fabrics, including madder, one of the original sources of the dark red dye used in antique carpets. In 2015, the Society undertook a garden restoration project to commemorate the museum's 50th anniversary. Now, let's hear from the widow, Thankful Arnold. Hello, friends. The current garden plan is an interpretation of my garden, which didn't have fancy-edged beds like you see here now. That style came after my time. I had a big garden with plenty of vegetables and herbs planted among them to feed our large family. The gardens are planted now with herbs used in my time for cooking, medicine, dyeing, fragrance, and other household uses. I grew a lot of root vegetables like potatoes, turnips, onions, and carrots because they would keep through the winter. By the end of that long winter, you can believe we were ready for some green vegetables. Allgood, which you call Good King Henry, was a popular pot herb because it was one of the first to grow. Sorrel was also an early green. We would usually cook them in soups and stews. With so many children, I had 12, you know, someone always had a cough, especially in those cold winters. In the fall, I would dig the roots of elecampane. I would slice the root, put it in a pot covered with sugar, and bake it for an hour or two to make cough syrup. I'd also combine dry elecampane root, dried leaves of hyssop and horehound that had been picked and dried in the summer, with seeds from flax to make a bedtime tea for colds and coughs. Soapboard, which some people called Bouncing Bet, named after the washmaids who were rubbing the clothes up and down on the scrubbing board, was used to wash things. If you crush the leaves or roots with water, they make suds that are used for cleaning. They were especially used to remove dirt and stains in cloth before dyeing. There are several herbs in the garden that were used for dyeing flax, cotton, and wool. Woad was used as a blue before indigo from the East Indies became available. Bedstraw was used for a lovely rose color. Bedstraw gets its name because its vanilla fragrance, when dried, makes it great for stuffing mattresses and pillows. And did you know that you could also use bedstraw instead of rennet to make cheese? Plants have so many uses. Some other dye herbs are chamomile for yellow, yarrow for yellow, and comfrey for a deep clear green. Comfrey was an herb we used often. It was used as a poultice to heal cuts or as a tea to help heal broken bones, lung problems, and stomach aches. Another herb I like to use was catnip. Most people in your time think that it's just for cats, but we used it to lower fevers and ease cramps. And when children had the colic, catnip tea with a little molasses would always help them go back to sleep. We also used valerian to help us sleep. We used many herbs to aid digestion, as well as for their flavor. Some of these include thyme, fennel, spearmint, lemon balm, tarragon, lovage, and oregano. As you can see, there are many more plants in the garden than the one I've described. I hope that you have enjoyed the garden from my point of view. The Thankful Arnold House Museum is a member of the Connecticut Women's Heritage Trail. The garden is also part of Connecticut's Historic Gardens, a group of 15 distinctive historic sites and gardens throughout Connecticut. Please visit them at www.cthistoricgardens.org.